Have you ever thought you were perfectly fine, just a little tired, maybe waking up once or twice at night, and then suddenly you find out your kidneys are only working at 30%? That's stage 3, chronic kidney disease. No pain, no warning, just silent failure creeping up on you. I'm Dr. Johnny, and I need you to hear this. Kidney disease is one of the fastest growing, deadliest, and most underestimated health crises in America today. The worst part: most people don't even realize they're sabotaging their kidneys every single day. But here's the good news. You don't have to be one of them. In this video, I'll show you the 10 everyday habits that quietly destroy your kidneys. And I'll give you the exact steps you can take to protect these life-saving organs before it's too late. Because once you understand what's really happening inside your body, you'll see protecting your kidneys isn't complicated. It's about making smarter choices starting today. And those choices, as you're about to hear, could be the difference between years of silent decline and a future of lasting health. The first silent habit that can sabotage your kidneys is letting your blood sugar spike after meals. Picture this: a man in his 50s grabs a bagel and a soda for breakfast, feels a quick burst of energy, and thinks he's fine. But inside his body, every sugar surge is like tiny shards of glass, scratching the delicate filters of his kidneys called the glomeruli. You won't feel it today, you won't even feel it next week, but those microscopic injuries build up quietly for years until one day a doctor tells you your kidneys are failing. Science backs this up. Studies show that even temporary blood sugar spikes well before full-blown diabetes can start damaging kidney microvessels. That's why you can have a normal fasting blood sugar, yet still be silently injuring your kidneys after every sweet drink or slice of white bread. The safe zone is clear fasting glucose between 80 and 90 and post-meal levels under 110. Cross that line regularly, especially if your A1C is over 5.4 and your risk climbs sharply. So what's the solution? Cut down processed carbs, ditch sodas and fruit juices, and instead build your meals around whole foods, non-starchy vegetables, fish, chicken, beans, and healthy fats like olive oil or butter. If you're serious, test your sugar 60 to 90 minutes after eating. It's a cheap, simple way to catch hidden spikes before they silently scar your kidneys. But just knowing this isn't enough, because there's another daily food trap that almost everyone overlooks, and this one doesn't just raise blood sugar, it loads your kidneys with hidden toxins. And that's where things get even more dangerous. The second hidden habit that quietly destroys your kidneys is eating processed foods. And I'm not just talking about fast food burgers or chips. Even the so-called healthy dried fruits or packaged snacks can be loaded with invisible chemicals that your kidneys have to struggle against. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman who thought she was eating healthy by swapping candy for dried apricots every afternoon. What she didn't know is that many dried fruits and sodas contain phosphate additives, substances that sneak into your bloodstream and put a crushing load on your kidneys. Day after day, her lab tests showed normal blood sugar, but her kidney function kept slipping. It wasn't until a nephrologist explained the hidden role of phosphates that she realized the trap. Science confirms this. Research shows phosphate additives accelerate kidney decline, increase inflammation, and raise the risk of cardiovascular disease. Combine that with artificial preservatives, flavor enhancers, and cheap trans fats, and you've got a toxic cocktail your kidneys simply weren't designed to handle. So what's the solution? Start simple. Cook at home with real whole ingredients. Choose fresh meat instead of deli cuts, real fruit instead of dried, and skip the brightly packaged snacks that promise energy but deliver hidden toxins. Within weeks, your kidneys feel the relief, because every fresh meal you prepare is one less chemical storm they need to fight off. But just knowing to avoid processed food isn't enough, because there's another common habit that people think is safe: taking a quick painkiller here and there that can silently choke off blood flow to your kidneys. And that's where the damage gets even scarier. The third dangerous habit that silently harms your kidneys is the routine use of over-the-counter painkillers, like ibuprofen, naproxen, or diclofenac. People reach for them casually for a headache, sore back, or stiff joints without realizing the silent toll they take. Take Mark, a retired carpenter. Years of heavy lifting left him with constant knee pain, so he popped ibuprofen almost daily. It gave him relief in the moment, but what he didn't know was that these drugs constrict the blood vessels that feed his kidneys. Less blood flow means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and weaker repair. Over time, his kidneys were suffocating without him ever feeling a thing until his lab work revealed a steep drop in function. Science backs this up. Regular NSAID use reduces renal blood flow, and when combined with dehydration, can dramatically accelerate kidney decline. It's like trying to run an engine on half the oil. It keeps moving for a while, but the damage inside builds until it's irreversible. So what's the solution? Focus on lowering inflammation naturally. Build your meals around whole foods instead of processed junk. Use turmeric or high-quality curcumin supplements for anti-inflammatory power. Add omega-3s from salmon, sardines, or a good fish oil. And don't forget magnesium from leafy greens to calm sore muscles. These swaps don't just ease pain, they actually protect your kidneys instead of harming them. But only understanding this still isn't enough, because there's another silent danger. Many people overlook something as simple as not drinking enough pure water every day. And that habit, as you're about to see, can be just as destructive. The fourth habit that damages your kidneys is chronic dehydration. Most people think coffee, soda, or tea count as hydration, but they don't. Imagine washing your car with soapy water, but never rinsing it off. That's exactly what happens inside your body when you skip clean water. Waste builds up minerals, crystallize, and your kidneys struggle to filter thickened blood. Consider David, a delivery driver in Texas. He spent long days in the heat relying on energy drinks to push through. By the time he finally drank water, it was too late. His kidneys had been working overtime with concentrated blood for hours. Months later, he developed painful kidney stones, a red flag that his filtration system was under siege. The science is clear. Dehydration increases the risk of kidney stones, raises blood concentration of waste products, and lowers filtration efficiency. Even mild fluid loss can reduce kidney function by making the blood thicker and harder to pump. Your kidneys need water, plain and simple. So what's the solution? Make clean water your default. Aim for several glasses throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty. And if you sweat heavily or work outdoors, add a balanced electrolyte one that includes potassium and magnesium, not just plain salt. Your kidneys will reward you with smoother, easier filtration every single day. But only fixing hydration won't save you completely, because there's another force that slowly strangles your kidneys, and that's high blood pressure. And once pressure builds up, the damage can escalate fast. The fifth silent killer for your kidneys is high blood pressure. It's called the silent assassin for a reason. You rarely feel it, but the damage is relentless. Imagine tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys as delicate as spiderwebs. Now picture a fire hose blasting against them every single day. That's what uncontrolled high blood pressure does. Let's look at Linda, a 62-year-old teacher. She thought her pressure was just a little high, hovering around 145/90. Her doctor told her not to worry too much, but over time that extra pressure hardened the microscopic vessels in her kidneys. Less oxygen reached the tissues, filtration slowed, and her kidneys began to fail without pain, without warning. Science shows the danger zone is clear. A normal pressure of 120/80 is safe, but once readings creep past 140, damage accelerates. By 160 and above, the risk of kidney scarring and eventual failure skyrockets. What makes it worse? Insulin resistance. Together they form a deadly duo that silently pushes millions toward dialysis every year. So what's the solution? Reduce insulin resistance through a low-carb whole food diet. Practice simple breathing exercises to lower stress-induced spikes. Stay active, monitor your pressure at home, and if you're already in kidney stage 2 or 3, be mindful of sodium and potassium, because what's safe for a healthy person may become dangerous once kidneys weaken. Small changes in lifestyle now can save you from years of decline later. But high blood pressure isn't the only dietary villain. There's another sweet enemy, literally, that poisons your kidneys from the inside out, and it hides in almost every snack aisle. The sixth dangerous habit that sabotages your kidneys is eating too much sugar, especially fructose. Many people think a spoonful of table sugar is the worst, but here's the truth. A bowl of white rice or a bottle of fruit juice can hit your kidneys just as hard, if not harder. That's because sugar isn't only about sweetness, it's about what it does once it gets inside your body. Take Emily, a 55-year-old nurse who swapped soda for orange juice, believing it was the healthier choice. She didn't realize that fruit juice stripped of fiber is basically liquid sugar. Every glass poured a rush of glucose and fructose into her bloodstream, spiking her triglycerides, raising uric acid, and silently inflaming her kidneys. Months later, her doctor found early signs of kidney damage, even though she had never touched soda. Science confirms this. Fructose overload drives non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, raises uric acid, fuels inflammation, and clogs filtration units in the kidneys. Over time, this toxic cycle weakens kidney function, even if your blood sugar looks normal on paper. So, what's the solution? Cut added sugar to near zero. Skip high fructose corn syrup in snacks and sauces. Forget the fruit juices that masquerade as healthy and focus instead on whole fruits, especially berries, which are low glycemic and kidney friendly. If you crave sweetness, let it come from natural fiber-packed foods, not from a bottle or a candy bar. Your kidneys will thank you with years of stronger function. But even if you lower sugar, there's another trap waiting. Too much protein, especially the lean kind, can quietly overload your kidneys with waste. And this one surprises a lot of people. The seventh habit that can quietly push your kidneys toward failure is eating too much lean protein without enough fat. You've probably heard the myth that protein itself destroys kidneys, but that's not the full story. The real problem comes when people overload on skinless chicken breasts, rabbit meat, or other very lean cuts, forcing their kidneys to process excess nitrogen waste with no fat to balance the load. Think about James, a gym enthusiast in his late 50s. He wanted to stay strong, so he packed his diet with plain chicken breast and protein shakes. On paper, it looked healthy, but behind the scenes, his kidneys were drowning in urea, the byproduct of protein metabolism. Without enough fat in his meals, his body had no buffer, and his filtration rate began to drop. By the time he checked his labs, his eGFR had already fallen below 60. Science makes this clear. Excess lean protein increases nitrogen waste and forces kidneys to filter harder, especially when function is already impaired. Protein in the urine doesn't mean protein caused the damage. It means the kidney was already leaking from earlier injuries. So what's the solution? Don't fear protein, but pair it with fat. Choose whole foods like eggs, sardines, or grass-fed beef with natural fat intact. If you enjoy lean meats, add healthy fats like olive oil or avocado to balance them. And if your eGFR is below 60, be mindful, not paranoid about protein amounts. Moderation and balance protect your kidneys far more than extremes. But even if you adjust protein, you could still miss another crucial danger: ignoring your lab results. And that mistake costs people their best chance to act early. The eighth habit that sabotages your kidneys is ignoring your lab markers, or worse, not testing at all. Too many people only look for the red flags on their blood work and assume that if nothing is highlighted, everything is fine. But that's a dangerous assumption. Take Robert, a 60-year-old accountant. Every year he got his blood tests and saw no warnings. He felt relieved. But what he didn't realize was that his eGFR had slipped from 92 to 78 over 3 years. Technically still normal on paper, but in reality that was stage 2 kidney disease. By the time his doctor finally mentioned the decline, Robert had already lost a big chunk of kidney function he could never get back. Science shows that kidney decline is gradual and often missed in the early stages. An eGFR of 90 and above is ideal. Drop below that and you're already in stage 2. From 59 down to 45, you're at stage 3A. And once you hit 30 to 44, that's stage 3B, where the risk of dialysis becomes real. Waiting for symptoms is waiting too long because damage is usually silent until it's severe. So what's the solution? Don't just glance at your labs, track them year by year. Look at your eGFR, your BUN, your creatinine, and see the trends. If they're sliding downward, even within the normal range, that's your wake-up call. Catching the drop early gives you the power to reverse course before it's too late. But ignoring labs isn't the only hidden danger. Even if your numbers look okay, there's another force that eats away at your kidneys day after day, and that's chronic stress combined with poor sleep. The ninth habit that drains your kidneys without you even realizing it is living under chronic stress and running on poor sleep. You may think you can just push through with coffee and willpower, but your kidneys pay the hidden price. Picture Anna, a caregiver in her late 50s. She worked long shifts, worried constantly about bills, and slept barely 5 hours a night. She felt strong for years, but her blood pressure kept creeping up, her cortisol stayed high, and her kidneys quietly took the hit. By the time she noticed swelling in her ankles, the silent damage was already well underway. Science explains why. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline, pushing you into a constant fight-or-flight state. This raises blood pressure, worsens insulin resistance, and fuels inflammation, all of which strain the kidneys. Combine that with poor sleep, and your body never gets a chance to reset, repair, and lower those stress hormones. Over time, it's like running your engine at full throttle without ever turning it off. So what's the solution? Protect your sleep like medicine. Set a consistent bedtime, put your phone away, and give your body at least 7 hours to recharge. Learn simple stress resets. 2 minutes of slow breathing, a short walk in the sun, or even quiet meditation can flip the switch from tension to calm. These small practices reduce pressure on your kidneys and give them the rest they need to keep working for you. But even if you manage stress and sleep, there's still one final danger, perhaps the most critical of all. It's the #1 cause of kidney failure, yet most people don't even realize they have it until decades later. And that's where the real shock comes in. The 10th and most dangerous habit that destroys kidneys is leaving insulin resistance unchecked. This is the true #1 cause of kidney failure and the most underestimated. People often think, my blood sugar is normal, so I'm safe. But the truth is, by the time your blood sugar rises, the silent damage may have been happening for 10 or even 15 years. Take Michael, a 58-year-old office manager. His annual checkups always came back fine, but he noticed his waistline expanding and his energy dropping. What he didn't know was that his body was pumping out more and more insulin just to keep his blood sugar stable. On the surface, the numbers looked normal. Underneath, insulin resistance was silently inflaming his blood vessels, stiffening his arteries and scarring the filters in his kidneys. By the time his doctor caught it, the disease had already advanced. Science shows this clearly. Insulin resistance is the hidden engine behind high blood pressure, type 2, diabetes, and kidney failure. It drives inflammation, damages delicate microvessels, and accelerates decline long before diabetes is diagnosed. The best way to detect it early is not just with glucose, but by checking A1C, fasting insulin, and calculating HOMA-IR. These reveal how hard your body's working behind the scenes. So what's the solution? Cut out sugars and refined carbs, swap them for leafy greens, non-starchy vegetables, and healthy proteins. Use fats like olive oil or avocado to stay full without spiking insulin. Move your body every day, walk after meals, lift light weights, or simply stay active. These habits don't just lower insulin, they protect your kidneys years before symptoms appear. But here's the twist: understanding insulin resistance is powerful, yet what truly matters is how you act on this knowledge. And in our conclusion, I'll show you why even one small change today could decide whether your kidneys thrive or whether dialysis becomes your only option. You've just learned the 10 everyday habits that can quietly destroy your kidneys, and more importantly, how to stop them before it's too late. Remember, protecting your kidneys doesn't mean living in fear. It means taking small, consistent steps, drinking more water, cutting down sugar, choosing real foods, managing stress that add up to powerful protection over time. I want you to know you're not alone on this journey. Every change you make, no matter how small, matters. Your kidneys work for you 24 hours a day, and they deserve that same care in return. If this video helped you, please save it so you can come back anytime, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. That way you'll always have access to the latest medical insights, practical tips and guidance to keep your kidneys and your whole body healthy for years to come. And here's the most important truth: kidney disease may be silent, but it doesn't have to control your future. With knowledge, with action, and with consistent care, you can stay strong, independent, and full of life. The choice is in your hands, and today is the perfect day to start.